Give my regards to the Abyss.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anteup and welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be a breakdown of my thought process that went into the safety crafting videos that I do sometimes, and it's also a deep dive into safety crafting as well because I kind of wanted to share this information that I gathered. I didn't do it alone, I had help along the way and I did research on the side, so I figured why not share this information with the community as much as I can for those who need it or those who are interested. So without wasting too much of your time here, let's jump right into the video. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer any questions you have. And other than that, guys, I hope you enjoy the video. As I say in the beginning of all of my crafting videos, my goal is to replace my current wind force with a better crafted bow. In order to determine which bows to use for these crafts, I had to go through a lot of information, but I'll try to break down each part of my thought process as best as I can. Oh, and before we get started, if you're an expert or a veteran on crafting, this video probably isn't for you. This is more for people that want to understand which items to use for their crafts and how I decided upon the ones that I'm crafting in my videos. I'm going to move pretty quickly as there's a lot of information to go over. Feel free to pause the video and use the timestamps in the description below when needed. With that being said, let's dive right in. Crafted items have 1 to 4 prefixes or suffixes and can take from both the magic and rare pools, but they cannot roll magic-only item affixes. It's also important to note that you cannot roll 4 prefixes or 4 suffixes, but you can have any combination between those two. Also, you cannot pull multiple affixes out of the same family of affixes, so if we were looking at, let's say, prefixes for attack rating and plus damage, and you rolled masters on your craft, you could not then also roll kings. It would pull from a different affix family altogether. The next part of the video is going to be covering the formula that is used to calculate the affix level on your crafted item. If you're not interested in this section, feel free to skip ahead. I also didn't realize that there's a calculator in circulation on Reddit that's been around for years before I made this video or before I actually started crafting, so I did everything out by hand. So if you're interested to see how that's done, feel free to stick around. If not, feel free to skip ahead. In order to understand the formula and how it can be used to your advantage when you're trying to determine if your item can pull from the correct affix pool, you gotta understand the basics. The first part of this is your item. Each item has an item level, also known as eye level, which is determined by the level of the monster that dropped the item. Items also have a quality level, known as Q level, which is the item's inherent value. Now you can find this right on the area website. If you go to, let's say, the Grand Matron bow, and go to the end of the line of text there, you're going to see that it has a quality level of 78. Your current character level, also known as C level, plays a factor in this equation as well. Each item that is crafted will roll an affix level, also known as A level, which is used to determine which affixes can be rolled on that item. Alright, since we're done going over the very basics here, let's take a look at how crafts are actually rolled. And keep in mind, all numbers with decimal values are rounded down. So this is the first step. The item of the level of the craft is calculated first using this formula. Take your current character level and you half it, and you take half of your item level and then you add those together and you get your crafted item level. Let's remember this number as it's going to be used in the equation a little bit later on, so just keep that off to the side. A couple of checks are going to be put into place before determining the affix level. Let's have a look. Is the crafted eye level higher than 99? If yes, the crafted item level changes to 99. If no, the crafted eye level stays the same. The next check. Is the Q level higher than the crafted eye level? If yes, change the crafted eye level to the Q level. If no, the crafted eye level stays the same. The final step is going to be calculating the affix level. There are a couple of different conditions and equations that can be used here. So let's have a look. If the eye level is less than half the quality level, subtracted from 99, then use this equation. If it is not, then you're going to use this equation. So now that we have the equation down, I would suggest that you try it out, practice it if you're going to end up using it or if you're interested in it. But other things you can do with this, you can actually do some pretty cool stuff. So let's take a look here. You can actually hone in on the affixes that you want a little bit better than what I did in my videos. You can alter your character level, meaning you can prevent yourself from leveling too high. So let's say you stopped at, let's say, level 70. You can actually eliminate other affixes that are available in that pool, limiting what it's pulling from. So it betters your chances of getting the affixes you want. But in doing so, you also have a chance of lowering the affixes that can be rolled on that item. So at level 70, there's an 80% chance of 3 affixes and a 20% chance of 4 affixes. I'll leave it entirely up to you guys on how you want to use that information. I personally don't have the option of doing that being level 96, with no plans of making a lower level character for crafting this season, so next season maybe I'll give it a shot and I'll let you guys know. Or if you know the answer, please let me know in the comment section below. Let's cover the theory craft of the godly bow that I'm aiming for in the videos that I put on my channel. There are 3 particular affixes that we need to be focused on. They happen to be part of the prefix pool. The 3 mods that we should be looking at are Cruel, Master, and Fools. And the reason for this is we need to maximize our damage as much as possible in order to compete with the Wind Force. And these 3 particular do the most. Now, Fools mod actually changed. It used to be a static 0.5 per level for maximum damage. It is now 0.125 to 2.5. Looking at the suffix pool, you'll notice that there's less affixes available with non-elemental damage, but we do have Slaughter, and that adds to maximum damage, and that's going to be applied before any multipliers, so that can be very nice. Now the other affixes you want to look at under this pool would be Leech, Bat, and Alacrity. This would be more for versatility than anything else, but they would be nice welcomed additions to this crafted bow. So now that we know which affixes that we're going to be targeting for this crafted bow, we should look at the safety craft itself, starting with the recipe. You're going to need your Herodra Cube, a bow or crossbow, any jewel, so a magic jewel, a rare jewel, or a rainbow facet, just don't use a good one, a soul rune, and a perfect emerald. Once transmuted, you'll get your safety craft bow. Now keep in mind, like I mentioned earlier, they have 4 fixed affixes for enhanced damage, magic reduction, damage reduction, and IAS. We're going to want to roll as high as we can on the ED and the IAS in order to hit our goal. And keeping in mind, the bows that I used for this were carefully determined by the highest maximum damage, highest average damage, high socket count, and the possibility of having a high drop rate, and then also the quality level. Let's take a look at the bows I decided to use for this craft. The 3 main ones are going to be the Grand Matron bow, the Hydra bow, and the Crusader bow. I also included the normal and exceptional versions of these bows. And the reason for that is you want to increase your drop chances of finding these bows. And these bows can roll the affixes needed to make a godly bow, so instead of wasting mats on upgrading your bow immediately and just upping it, in Project Diablo 2 you can up it afterwards, so that's pretty sweet. If you're concerned about your item level, just remember, if you farm a TC 85 area, it's going to have higher tiered monsters, and the item level is based off of the monster that drops it. So even if you have, let's say, the long battle bow, it will scale up to the monster's level. So it could be like a level 83 to 88 or whatever it may be. Now, if you need a lower item level, you can always farm earlier areas in the game to help control that number. Here's a quick example I have for you guys. So this is a long battle bow that I found while mapping. And even though it's a normal class item, it still rolled item level 89. So if you're aiming for those higher item levels, stick to TC 85 areas. And if you need a lower item level, then stick to the earlier areas in the game. Now that we know what goes into this theory craft and how to acquire everything needed to do it, let's actually go ahead and construct this thing. Remember earlier in the video where I mentioned which affixes we were going to be targeting? We're going to use the same ones to create this theory craft. So 3 of them were prefixes and 1 was a suffix. Now, we're going to aim for Cruel, Masters, Fools, Grand Matron bow of Alacrity. Now that we have the name of our bow, let's take a look at the range of these affixes. This is going to be based on character level 96, as it is my current character level. Starting off with the increased attack speed section, we have 10 to 20 IAS that comes from the safety craft. We have an additional 10 to 20 which comes from Alacrity, which is also a suffix, giving us a total of 20 to 40 IAS for the first part. Now looking at the enhanced damage section, we have 70 to 120 ED from the safety craft, 101 to 150 ED from Masters, 201 to 300 ED from Cruel, giving us a range of 372 to 570 ED. Now looking at our last prefix, we have the Fools mod, which is going to be 0.125 to 2.5 maximum damage per level. I am level 96. It's going to range from 12 to 240 max damage. And then we also have the static 16.5 attack rating per level, which is going to net us 1584. Lastly, we have the physical damage reduction and the magic damage reduction that comes from the safety craft. Those will both range from 2 to 5. Now that we know the range of this crazy looking craft, let's take a look at the absolute maximum end of a roll that can happen on it. I know it's near impossible to do, but it's just fun to theorize sometimes. So we have the top end of the spectrum here. This is 40 IAS, 570 ED, 240 max damage, 1584 attack rating, 5 to both physical and magic damage reduction. This thing is bonkers. We're probably never going to see a bow like this. Well, at least I haven't. So this would be the ultimate godly craft. I don't think anything can beat this. But let's go further beyond. The corruption. Making things super insanely godly, or bricking the ever-living shit out of something that you had a very slim chance of making to begin with. So obviously the best slam possible on this would be the 80 to 120 enhanced damage with the IAS stacked on top of it, which is about a 10% chance. Now, as much as I want to see a godly slam like that, I'm a little nervous about the puzzle box situation. So my question to you guys is, what do you think about a max open socket corruption, or even just a 4 to 5 because it's a Grand Matron bow? And if I do a Hydra bow, it could be 6 open sockets, but I could settle for 4 possibly. Do you think it could still beat a Windforce out at that point? I kind of been debating this one in my head. If it rolled high enough, I think it still might at least beat the one I have, but I'd like to hear what you guys think about that. If you made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to check out my video and checking out the content on my channel. If you have any questions, I will do my best to answer it in the comments section below. If you wouldn't mind adding a like to the video and subscribing to the channel, it'd be greatly appreciated. Outside of that, guys, I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.